Nobody came in. I haven't even watched my bad peeing video. So many videos of me peeing. It's not even funny. I haven't seen anything in here. Oh. There's something here. They're so cute. Really funny. Oh my god. See, we're not advertising her, okay? Obviously, she has trouble getting her own people to pay attention to her. And the cartel isn't treating her great either, which is too bad for her, I guess. How sad. What a great advertisement for her cartel she is. You know, like, y'all, I don't know what cartel or gang this girl works for, but she needs help. I'll need to flush her out a little bit. Make her more fleshy. More attractive to someone else. Like I said about what's her face. I was like, well, if she was really good at her job, then she wouldn't be. Then it would look different. Right? It just would. Is this what it's supposed to look like? I've never used login live before, but I don't think it's what it's supposed to look like. And I don't want that guy's coding. Oh, I'm recording. Okay, good. Guys, I don't want this guy's coding, so I'm like, I don't know. This looks like malware to me. See anything that means I'm getting that guy's coding? Because I don't want it. He did bad things when he was younger. He needs to have the consequences for that if he's going to be such an asshole to me. Or he can go ask someone else to take his coding. I don't understand why they're all trying to shove their coding down my throat, no offense. But it's very strange. They're like, we need this girl's life to suck, so who's going to make it suck for her? But actually, I don't need my life to suck. I've had a great life. I deserve to have a better life. And life is going fine for me. Look at that, y'all. See, it's some kind of weird thing. I don't think this is really Microsoft, but I'm not sure. It could be. What's happening? But y'all are seeing this, so you know it's real. Anyway, just so you know, I haven't done anything bad to have had to do this stuff, and I should show you my coding real quick. So you can see. This is coding because I was a special ed teacher, and they tried to give me all of my students' coding, and all of their parents' coding, and several other people's coding, my brother's coding, my sister's coding, lots of people's coding. And they just don't want it back, y'all. It's really sad. So if you look here, you'll see. And if you know, you know, this is some bad stuff. Some interesting things. And some computer stuff in here. But mostly bad stuff. And y'all, none of it's true. Almost none of it is true. Even some of the good things aren't true. But if you live here and you have this Wi-Fi, this guy tries to shove his coding down your throat. And it's ridiculous because almost nobody that lives here has been as bad as he has in his lifetime. And yet he tries to make us all pay for it. And it's not okay. And then he has our good coding, I guess. I don't know. But this started with C when I moved in. And then a week later, he showed up from the old town because he was trying to, again, to steal my identity and shove my coding down his throat and blacklist me and smear me around town. When I have never done that to anyone. Isn't that weird? Like, look. Bad stuff, y'all. If you want to tell me what you think some of these mean, I'd like to hear what y'all think they mean. I've looked them up. I know what they mean. I've asked people. And they are horrible. And none of them almost are mine. And this guy is older than me, and he's lived quite the life. Yeah, I'm not a bore. I'm not anything like this, and this is really upsetting. I can't help my voice. I like my voice, but it does not mean that my character matches my voice. Think about it, you know? They took some of the racist stuff off. Oh, no, they didn't. Some of it's still on there. And the woman next door, she's a knacker, and she tried to give me her coding. It's a ridiculous thing. And I don't sell pot, y'all. It's not fair. Because I like the people that I meet with this coding sometimes, even though some of them aren't great. And it's very shocking for them because they're expecting me to be different. So it's unfair on a number of levels. It looks like they might have taken off stet ho. So they took off that woman's coding, the Dr. von der Wampel's coding. That's so sad. All the library stuff. That might still be here. Let's see. There we know. This is not mine. And my sister's coding. My sister has passed away in 2014, and her coding is on here, y'all. It's crazy. There's a emotionally disturbed woman from Al-Anon, like her coding's on here. It's crazy. So many things. I am not error prone. I mean, they tried to give me every bad coding you could possibly give somebody, y'all. It's crazy. What did it say? Let's say JJBJC? No, I have never in my life, y'all. JJOBJC. J20BJC? I know, I don't even know what that means, but I have done lots of things. I'm an older woman, I've had sex, I like sex, but I have never done that much in public, really. I don't do anything awful. And I've never been a bad person or a boring person or a dislikable person. This is really sad. And I know whose coding this is, too. All these different ones. Look, lit ho. How funny. But there was stet ho on there, y'all. They took her coding off really fast because it traced back to my ex-husband and her. See? Strong talk. I don't do strong talk. I don't know what the hell. They had all this hot girl coding on there when I was doing the bikini training. They took it all off, which is so funny. But there's still so much on here, y'all. This guy, I was in a bad state because I had been attacked, and I called here and I requested a police officer. And this guy showed up that wasn't quite a police officer. And he took half of this coding off. And he was not very nice to me, even though I'd just been physically assaulted. Because my sister physically assaulted me in New Braunfels when my mom was in the hospital, and they gave me like a victim's advocate list, and they told me where to call and like who to talk to, and they gave me a paper that said, you know, you've been a victim of domestic violence and all these things, and because it was witnessed by 75 other people, and this was literally filmed, and they didn't do any of that, which is sad. So I have to get on that victims network so I can get away from this guy, because I actually know who he is. So, I mean, it's crazy. I don't know if this is the right one, y'all. That's strange. Like, what is going on with this? Let's see. I need to leave the client ID in there. But yeah, people are nuts, y'all. And I don't go after people, but I've known some crazy people, mostly through my ex-husband, because he used to sleep with a lot of different people, and they would come after me. But these people are guys coming after me, but kind of the same thing, which is so weird. Let's see. See, it says redirect URI, and I don't want them to have offline access. I don't understand what that's all. It all sounds like garbage, honestly. But the client ID, I probably do need that. Oh my god. Key 4. Isn't this strange? I mean, like, people hate me, but it's just the same people. It's these Spring Branch, New Braunfels, Kyle, Universal City people, and their relatives. Very weird. And other people don't want to deal with it, and I don't blame them, but there should be more to my account than just this. Like, I should have a way to see what kind of settings are in there, and I should have a way to see who's logged in and where, and all of this stuff. And see, that's what I mean, they're treating me like a human trafficking prisoner in my own home. And I paid $600 for this place. A month. Every month. Without trouble. Every 30 days, I pay them $600. And I explained to them that it's going to be on this day and everything. I've never even seen this before. They should see my devices, right? Yeah, see, mine should look like that. Why doesn't mine look like this? Let's see. It's like Chrome immediately has malware. But the modem should have malware. And see, I use the DNS address for Cloudflare, and it works here. So maybe they turned it off for some reason without... Oh, see? Their DNS does not work, which is sad. Now maybe. I need to type Android on here. Oh, it says Android. But no, they don't have a search warrant. They're not serving me with anything like that. They're doing unreasonable searches and seizures. They're identifying themselves as police officers. They're saying that they're just crazy right now. Android. And they are fighting it tooth and nail. Because even though they know that they're giving me their stuff and it's not my stuff, they don't want to do it. They don't want to take it off of there. It's crazy. Y'all. I don't have this coding. My brother has this coding, and he does not want it back. And I don't necessarily want him to have it back, but I don't need it. Let's see. So I'm letting you see how this goes so you can see it and you can explain it to me. Because it's obviously some sort of thing so they can skim data off of me and not the real apps at all. Because if you look at this in 2023, it should look different. And it was a brand new device. It's not a build. I have the guy's phone number that I bought it from, and he can swear that it was a brand new device when I bought it. Okay. This should show Microsoft.com, Microsoft Live. It's being an ass, and there's no reason, y'all. I have done absolutely nothing to have all this taken away from me, or even to be limited like some white trafficking victim. It's crazy, and all they're doing is bring attention to things that they really shouldn't be bringing attention to, because they're causing all these troubles. I mean, everything I'm talking about is occurring within my four walls and on my internet and outside my window. I'm not showing you the parking lot or the swimming pool or the office or going down and knocking on doors and interviewing people. This is all stuff they're bringing to my life, and I don't even know why they're doing it. And it's families that moved here all together from my old town to skim from me, and I don't need to be in trouble with them. And it's a fair question to ask why I don't have the same access to the internet as everyone else on the planet does when I have to pay the same for a modem and a router and for an apartment. I don't pay any less for my apartment. It's very strange. It has nothing to do with my device. They're not even available on the Play Store. And I've never had any bad coding for myself. And I've never had anything taken away from me. My brother was paying for my phone, and he has horrible coding, and he gave it to me by giving me his phone and getting a different phone for himself, taking my phone for himself, giving me his phone. And then he tried to do it again with this one, and he needs to fix it. I don't want him to have bad coding either, but he is the one that has done horrible things to people and animals, not me. Okay, we're getting there. Let's try Microsoft. Isn't that funny? Oh my God, people. Someone is just being an ass. It looks like a fill in the blank populating things. It's because they want me to be a slave, literally a slave of this guy, this Mexican guy that showed up and wanted my phone. Watch, if I try to log on to my phone, watch this. This is funny. And don't worry, when they say got it and all this, oh, and this is my only Gmail app. Does your Gmail app look like this? I would like to know. Because I've been a slave to these people for too long, and I'm ready to come into the light. They even tried to chip my teeth to make me look like a slave. I'm not kidding. So it's not me that needs to change. Okay, see? That's true, I am signed into Google Chrome, so I'm going to go ahead and log off of that because I don't need that right now if the other thing's going to work. Does your Google look like this? Mine's always looked like this as far as I know. This page is normal. So, but this is normal. Now, the problem that's not normal is that no one tells you when you move in here that everything that happens to you is going to be, oh, what happened to my mail? Someone's been deleting my Gmail. No one tells you that when you move in here that your apps and everything are going to be Easy Play Big Note, right? Because they're being a nightmarish person. All the square pop-up boxes and everything is very strange. Now, my Gmail was set to sync. We're not really sure why it's not syncing right now. Everything has to be reset. All this is normal. Watch this slider. See, that's got to be malware. I mean, you think it's malware, but I'm not a sex offender, y'all. I have never been a sex offender. Never in my life. The only people that have ever called me sex offenders are people that are jealous because their lives didn't turn out as well and their kids didn't turn out as well and their lives didn't turn out as well. It's really sad. And people know it too, that's the sad thing. But the problem is getting it off of there is very difficult once it's on there. And I'm starting to wonder about this big question mark of who the money person is. And the short symbol people. And all this stuff, because I have never been anything but nice to them. But somehow they've never liked me, and some of them are racist. But I hate to say racist because it wasn't part of my life like 6 months ago. You know, I didn't have confirmation that my mom was a woman of color except by looking at her. But, I mean, I didn't have confirmation of that until after she died. So, it's very upsetting. No, I didn't even type on Hulu. But isn't that funny? Okay, so now I'm trying to get my Microsoft app to be normal. So then if you go down here, oh, first of all, let me show you. Look, y'all, I name my phone a different thing every day. And look, this is from Saturday. So somehow they like rolled my device back to Saturday. And they expect, they all buy these tablets. They expect me to update them somehow. So they expect, like, if I change my password, then all of a sudden I have to change it on their tablet because they can't possibly let me have any privacy. And this is how they treat someone that doesn't owe them any money and isn't beholden to them in any way. So imagine how they treat the women that are. It's crazy. What is this, Wednesday? Let's try to do... Oh my gosh, y'all. Anyway, that's my tablet, so you can see. Nothing weird about it. I can show you these. Oops, what is it? Shouldn't have any, y'all. Look, see, Google Error Prone. There it is. And I don't even know how you get that, but I don't have that. I'm very good at all these things. It's crazy, y'all. Look, a hoe. Is that weird? And y'all, this keeps you from getting jobs. It keeps you from lots of things. And I have never, ever done anything to deserve all this stuff. Is that weird? I don't even use Bluetooth or biometrics at all. I've never tried to break into anybody's anything. Well, I know that's probably not part of that, but still. Anyway, this guy showed me how to check these. See? Shared secret.api. Like, what the fuck is that? Y'all, I don't have Rust source. Isn't that funny? Like, I don't do abortions or have anything to do with white trafficking or anything to do with drugs or anything to do with anything like that. But that's only because I'm sober. I don't really, and I don't perform abortions. I never have. My brother, lots of people I know have done things like that similarly or been involved in it tertiarily, but they don't, but I don't need to know that about them, and I don't want anything to do with them. Look, dump state. Guys, I've never even been in prison. The only reason I spent a little time in jail, like a few weeks, because my brother was supposed to pick me up and he wouldn't, and I owed them $300 and I couldn't get to my bank account. And I had $5,000 in the bank. And he just refused to pick me up because he used to treat me like a human slave. And that was for a paperwork problem. Something that would need a $250 fine, if that. So it wasn't even anything big. He was just mad because my mom wanted me to share in the house equity. And so he was throwing a fit and trying to pretend like I was a trash person. And that's part of the reason why I have all this, is because he and his friends just took out after me. It's really upsetting. Isn't this weird? Look, automotive can. I don't even know what the hell, y'all. I have never ever done anything bad in a car. Ever. I've had one big accident when I was 20 that was caused by somebody else. And I've had no other accidents. Just fender benders caused by these guys, these very same families that would stop dead in front of me and try to get me to hit them so they could get money from my insurance. Which is why I thought they followed me up here. But I mean, you can look it up. I've never had any huge accidents except for the one when I was 20. And that's when I was hit by someone who was going way too fast on a road that was supposed to be a 25 mile an hour speed limit. It's very upsetting. Look at this. This is like the coding of a very bad person. So some of this isn't even coding that I would know who they were so bad. But see, they want you to... My therapist was the husband of a criminal defense attorney. And she told me that when they do this to people, what they do is they get in with the criminal... I don't believe in conspiracy theories. These are literally her words. I would have no way of knowing this for myself. But they get in with criminal defense attorneys in that county where I was, Hays County. And they try to get people to hire them to get this coding off. And then the lawyers pay fee kickbacks to try to share with cops or whoever puts this on here. I hope it's not cops. And see, I lived there for a long time and I had money, so they probably thought that I would get rid of it then and not take it with me. But some of this is just plain jealousy and pettiness, y'all. I didn't even know what the hell. Like, there were these e-cards that someone made and put on the internet and tagged me in them. And they were pictures of people I knew, but I didn't recognize them at that time. So I saved them and I put them up on my Pinterest. And they said that I was making fun of them on the internet. But I didn't make the cards because I can't do that. I can sketch, but not like that. And I couldn't sketch then. I started sketching when I was here in coronavirus lockdown. But I had never sketched before. I can do lettering, but I never sketched like people or still lifes or anything before. Look at this. The key master. That weird, I've never lost a key or given away a key. When I was this woman that was my aide, my kids took their keys to school, right? Because they're divorced and they had to be able to get to their stuff. You know, I wanted them to be able to say, hey, Dad, I forgot my shoes. Can I go get them or whatever? So, well, not shoes, but like, you know, backpack or whatever. But they shouldn't. And I made sure that they didn't. And he didn't have any right to enter my home. Okay, but the kids could. So they had their keys at school, and that woman would go copy them at school. It was very upsetting. And so I would have to keep getting keys made. So my kids had glitter keys and butterfly keys and tattoo keys and peace keys and all kinds of keys. Like they had different color keys and every decorated glitter key you can imagine for kids they had. And they make a ton of them, and camouflage keys and all kinds of things. And these guys would, and my ex-husband actually buried a key to my house to let guys in to my house without permission, just like one of these date nights. But all that was, family stuff. I'm talking about total strangers. She giving my key to total strangers. So, yeah, it's upsetting. But that was at 8, and that was a long time ago. And here, I never had any access to the key making. And I didn't lose my key. My key's on a lanyard. It stays around my neck or on my body. So, that's not me. How awful. It's probably Steve's. Oh my gosh. Because I know Steve gave me some of his coding, because obviously I don't sell pot, but maybe S did too. Sometimes some of these under-the-table jobs are for that kind of thing. Y'all, look at this. I don't deprecate anybody. I don't know what that means. Reboot escrow. It's like, what does that even mean? So funny. It's like, I didn't get rebooted from any escrows. But this guy C is a realtor. The one that was angry about not buying my house in the first place, or later. And he moved here to try to pivot himself. And also, maybe this is what LaDonna meant. There's this wonderful woman, LaDonna Simpson, that passed away here. And she actually gave me 3 of my chips. And she was really wonderful. And she was saying that there was something that I should know that they weren't telling me. But I thought it was that I was black. So, but maybe it's this. But I didn't do anything bad with real estate. The guy kitty cornered to me, and the guy next door to me trashed my house. I was living in a hotel while I was packing up. And they just trashed my house just like they just did my apartment. Look at this. Shared secret interface. I don't even know what that means. Rust source. Like, I've never even talked to people about abortions. This woman literally is shoving abortions in my face. But I didn't even know about them when I moved here. It's so crazy. My sister did them, and she bought a white car. She's passed away now, but she bought a white car, and she painted it red first thing. And I didn't even know what that meant. I thought maybe she was HIV positive. But she did them, and I don't know why or whatever her reasons were, but I never had anything to do with them, so it's probably her coding. It's a nightmare, y'all. Look at this. They tried to blacklist these 3 guys, these 3 families, tried to blacklist me in every single occupational network that you could possibly blacklist it in, for absolutely nothing to base it on whatsoever. Isn't that crazy? And I never had problems with my camera. That was my ex-husband. Hopefully all this doesn't mean that, but I'm afraid it does, actually. It's a nightmare. So my ex-husband had really bad coding, y'all. When I met him, he was in trouble for hurting a child when he was younger. And he continued in having sex when he was 14 with an older woman. And he continued to get into trouble. And when he met me, I was an innocent girl, and I didn't know anything about it. And my brother suggested that he give me his coding. And so he did, but he didn't for a long time. A long time. And I would get cameras, and he would ask for them for Christmas and stuff, and cell phones, and I would get him those things that he asked for. And I would not even notice anything wrong. I can't believe this. But he did not get dumped by the state. Oh, he's a good guy. He's not a good guy. I mean, he's not a good guy. He's a horrible person sometimes, and he's been horrible to me, but I just can't really call him that. But I can't, look at these guys. This is not me. I'm not at all error prone, actually. My thing right now is just to get everything up as fast as possible because I don't want to deal with people saying that I don't have proof of things. Look at this. Hardware. Look at this is all from that guy. The guy I worked for. I worked so hard for him, y'all. And he treated me like a total slave. See, that's the thing. It's like if you quit, if they fire you, they expect you to move. It's just so rude. It's like it's weird. It's like they think it's like a 10,000 square foot house instead of each renter having their own rights. And I didn't even know that until I started doing all this. I would never have said that otherwise. Oh my gosh, look, OEM lock. I don't even know what that means. But y'all, this is not right. And see, the animal sniffer thing isn't on here. Animal sniffer, I don't know what that means, but it's been on every other thing. But it's not on this one. I'm not sure, maybe that is woofs mean. Not sure. They tried to blacklist me with every gang. They tried to these three guys, these three families, and plus M and S. They tried to blacklist me with every gang. They tried to blacklist me with every occupation, every business here in Nacogdoches. Everything you can ever think of, like minimum wage jobs, state jobs, any kind of job, for nothing, just for a living. I don't even know what it is. I'm just a good person. Look at this, y'all. Vibrator. I don't even know what that means. My mom was over at my house once and she gave my kids a vibrator, which is embarrassing. But I wasn't home. I was away on a cruise for like a week, 10 days, I think that one. And so they came home and my mom was like, oh, we found your stuff. And I was like, why were you looking at my things? My family was awful to me, y'all. I never had any privacy. They were always going through all my stuff. Oh, this is Mark's coding. Oh my God. He created another identity called Auric. And that guy, the Auric guy, was a paid guy that lives in Florida to take his identity. But that guy committed a crime, y'all. The fake guy assaulted a 14-year-old girl. Hard assaulted a 14-year-old girl. I mean, and went to jail for it, was arrested for it. And so Mark ended up with that coding. And also, or Mark himself might have done that. I don't know. I hope not. I can't imagine that. That would almost be calumny, but I'm not trying to calumnize him. But he's still, this is all his coding, because he repairs medical equipment. That's what he does. So, okay, or this is all stuff that has nothing to do with any of that. But some of it sounds kind of suspect. Look at that, y'all. Isn't that crazy? So maybe that fake cop that came here was an army guy. There's no garrison around here. There's a garrison, and there's like a Navy garrison in Lufkin because of the reservoir, I think. And there's maybe one in Louisiana, Barksdale, and then I think there's one closer, because I was looking, if my mom came to live with me, I was like, oh, we could go, the Air Force Base is only an hour away. So look at all this coding. They didn't want me to work in old folks' homes. They didn't want me to work in schools, because that woman, the aide I used to have, she got taken away from working with kids and put in an office job, which is a very nice job, but they didn't want her to work with kids anymore because she tried to break my kid's finger in the door because she was mad at her for being perfect. My daughter's pretty perfect, y'all. And she's evil in the way that people like for people to be evil, but other than that, she's pretty perfect. And that woman couldn't stand it because her kids have special needs. And although her daughters are just as beautiful, but she just could not handle it. And so one day, Sarah was in kindergarten and she was like answering all the questions and doing all the right things and everything. And that woman saw her going towards the restroom. So she went in the restroom first. And when she came out, Sarah was going in, and she just slammed her hand on the door as hard as she possibly could. And I was at the preschool working, so they called me, and I had to go. And I could hear her screaming. And no one had ever hurt her before, like on purpose. No one had ever hurt her on purpose before. In her whole life, that woman was the first person to ever hurt her on purpose. And it was just heartbreaking. So then that woman tried to give me her coding, and I was surprised she didn't get fired for that, or to get bad coding herself, but she didn't. But she did get eventually taken away from working with children, not because of me, but because of other things. And y'all, it was so funny. She tried to set up this situation where someone would accuse me of sexual molestation of a child, y'all. Bad. My daughter was in 4th grade, and I went into her classroom to talk to her because I was on break. And I was, I'm going to cry, y'all. Okay, so I was kneeling down by my daughter's desk, and this mental patient, unfortunately, he's a special needs kid that they had mental patients in our school. They were trying to give them a school experience, I guess. But anyway, this woman was in charge of managing them, right, or watching over them, and so were a couple other women. But anyway, he got away from them, and he ran down the hall because he had known this teacher. He had been in her class for a couple of things, and he ran in her room, and he asked her, "Can I use the restroom?" And she said, "There's somebody in there. Go back to your classroom and wait." And so he ran down the hall, but instead of going to the classroom, he went to the cafeteria restroom. And I was like 500 yards away from there. I don't even know why he did that. I was kneeling down next to my daughter's desk talking to her the whole time. Never had any interaction with that student whatsoever. Didn't even know him from Adam. And certainly we weren't ever informed that they were mental patients, but patients with mental disorders that required usually institutionalization. So then he got in trouble because there was another boy in there, and the teachers asked them, sort of encouraged them to act up sexually with each other in the cafeteria restroom. So they tried to put that on me because they didn't want to lose their jobs, but it had nothing to do with me. I was just talking to my perfect daughter that's wonderful and has no problems. I was like special needs kids because I grew up with special needs kids. My brothers and sisters have special needs. I don't. I have ADHD and I have visual impairment. But my kids don't have anything. They're fine. They might have a little ADHD, I don't know. And they have to wear glasses, but other than that, they're fine. And those women were jealous of that because their kids are affected. And it's not I think it's wonderful if you have kids with special needs. I really do. But they didn't like it at all. So then they said, "Oh no, well, they touched each other and they did all this stuff with each other and they were sexually active with each other and they were just playing around, like they had their pants off, they're doing all these things." And the other kid in the restroom, y'all, was an undercover cop. Oh my gosh, y'all, I cried tears of joy. I got on my knees. I'm not a religious person, but I do have a strong faith in God. And I mean, I just cried tears that day, y'all. Because my life would have been almost over. I mean, I didn't even interact with the child whatsoever. I wasn't even involved in the conversation. But even that teacher that did tell him to go back to his classroom, and she did not look outside the door and make sure he got down the hallway. That was the actual classroom teacher at the time. I wasn't the classroom teacher of record at all. And she was my daughter's teacher, though. But anyway, and she didn't even check to see he got there safely. And those women that were supposed to take care of him, there were 5 women in that building, and they didn't, in that room where he ran out of, and they didn't make sure that he got anywhere safely. So it wouldn't have been me anyway. But they still, and so then she got told no, that they weren't going to change my coding for that. And then she just went nuts and just kept trying to to change my coding anyway, even though I had nothing to do with it whatsoever. It's so funny. But oh, God is so good to me, y'all. I'm sorry to say it sound like that, but it was just, it's like still one of the most wonderful, beautiful things that ever happened to me. But they didn't even tell me, of course, for years that he was an undercover cop. It was just so sweet. But after he was there to protect my daughter, y'all, because of the finger thing. I didn't know they did that either. But they had her sort of watched after that because she was so sweet. And she is so sweet still to this day. Both of them are. Sorry. So they had her partnered up with him. And I couldn't understand it because he looked, you know how they are. They looked a little sketchy even at that age. Well, of course she's older pretending, but whatever. But they looked a little sketchy, right? So I was like, well, are you sure you want to pair him with him? And she's like, yes. And I said, okay, but if she turns out to be a fixer, if she grows up and she marries somebody and she thinks that she has to reform him, or she ends up chained to some nuclear reactor somewhere trying to change the world with this guy, then that's on you. I can't believe it. Oh my gosh, y'all. Anyway, they had her surrounded by people to be sure. So they didn't forget, they didn't not notice, they didn't ignore it. And I was so grateful. But anyway, I'm sorry with all this stuff. It's just hard because nobody loves me like that. But I love her so much. So it's like I think people are just waiting until there's enough to kind of get these people for something. Because I'm not really the kind of person that gets enslaved by people, and I don't do. Look at all this stuff. I don't do all these things, y'all. It probably has something to do with who I bought this at Walmart, brand new, in the box, not refurbished, and it was stolen and it came back, showed up back in my apartment, so it's got to be somebody around here. Anyway, oh my goodness, I'm sorry for sniffling, but I can't believe it, y'all. It was just such a God thing, and they kept her safe, and I thought that was so wonderful because I love them so much. I really liked the people I worked with. Some of them were very racist, but some of them were wonderful, and that's the way teachers are. It's like they're just like people. They have all the same problems that people have. But oh my goodness, I can't believe this. And that vibrator cutting, that might not be mine either. It's just most people have had one before in their lifetime, so it's not terrible. But still, look at that, y'all. Isn't that weird? And they tried to say that because I was black, I couldn't teach core subjects, science, language arts, and math. I guess it's like a backlash for the slam thing. The slam, slam the door on racism. But anyway, I think that's what that is. Maybe. I don't know if that's what that is, but that could be part of it. And all of this is just coding art. I mean, I don't know what the heck. Lordy. So anyway, I was very grateful that they did that. That was nice of them, and I didn't really even notice because, of course, I was drinking back then, but not too much. I was just kind of enjoying my life because I had a good job and I was able to go out and things hadn't really wound up at that point. But oh my goodness, y'all. I like having my time to myself and not, I liked my weekends off because being a single mom is so hard. And it was just really stressful not stressful for me, that's the wrong word. It was like long hours, I guess you'd say. And because I had to be at work at 6:45 in the morning, and I was done with work though. I was done with work at like 3:45 in the afternoon, and then but the girls didn't. They were really active kids. They did a lot of things. They did t-ball and softball, coach pitch, and they did. My daughter started riding, so she was riding, and they were outside playing all the time. They were riding all kinds of things with wheels, and I was outside all the time, and it was really difficult. So, I mean, I had a great time, but it was still, felt like I was on all the time. So, look at all of this stuff. I mean, this is bad, y'all. If this is what that means. With BS diff. And look at clanging. I don't clang. I don't even know what that would be. Clap. Oh my gosh, y'all. Look at that. Now, who has that? I wonder. That's probably S's coding, I bet. This is crazy, y'all. Dagger, too. I wonder what that means, like a backstabber? I've never really been a backstabber. Oh, that's probably my friend. I bet you that's my friend's coding. Because look, it says 2191. I bet you that's what that is. See, I had a friend for a long time, this doctor in New Braunfels, and she was my suite mate when I first got to Trinity. And she was already in love with the guy I was dating, right? And so she continually tried to undermine me in every way. She was always switching dates on things and being crazy about, like, I would come home and find her standing in my closet, just like this woman. She reminds me so much of the stalker I have right now. And I would be really worried, that something bad was going to happen. But we always had people around us, too, watching my safety. Because my dad was so powerful in the Air Force. My first roommate in Boston was a guardian angel from New York City. Because my mom was not going to take any chances on anything ever happening to me. And so I was always surrounded by people that were either cops or knew how to defend me. And I never really worried about it. But she was awful, y'all. And people, like, they used to call me Ariel and her Flounder, and it was just really, but behind her back. And I'm not in favor of being mean to her at all, because she's a person, she's struggling with her things. And they did end up kind of together in the end. But this is like, that's probably her coding, I would think. These people didn't like how she was treating me at all. I don't know what that means. Oh no, is that racist? Oh, that's so bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Someone's mad. You can tell one of these guys feels like petty about something. Zeta Chi. That's weird. I don't know what that means, but Zeta Chi was a sorority that I pledged in 1988 or 89, and I didn't get into. But it was fine. I wasn't upset about it. I cried for like a day, and that was it. But it was okay, because I had my boyfriend already. I knew I was going to marry him, and I was happy with my studies and stuff. But I would have loved to have been in a sorority. That's probably that woman. That's probably from that woman. I wonder what that means. It can't be. It has to be something computer related. This has to be about the actual build of the thing, right? Someone's going to say I'm crazy. I'm going to be so upset. But this is like really weird stuff, y'all. Look at all this coding, y'all. They're trying to keep me from being able to have a YouTube channel, I think. Because, oh my gosh, I get it. There's this woman, the aide that I had. Okay, she has beautiful daughters and beautiful, like, nieces. One of them moved up here to Nacogdoches in this apartment complex and started doing OnlyFans right a week after I started doing my YouTube channel. The next week. And she contacted me, and she's like, hey, I do OnlyFans, do you want to collaborate? And I was like, look, I would love to talk to you about cameras and lighting and filming and, you know, editing and all that stuff. I was like, but I'm not interested in doing OnlyFans, so I don't want to talk about that. But, you know, as far as collaborating, like if you wanted me to interview you or whatever, I'd be happy to. But I recognized her because she looks like that woman. Like they look, it's very similar, and her name is the same, of course. That's why I wouldn't say that. But I mean, still, very upsetting, y'all. So I bet you they were trying to get me, like, not to be able to do this. Maybe that's what's wrong with all the editing things. Isn't that petty? They're being petty. Those 3 families are just being incredibly petty.